Hi, I'm Nick, and welcome to Storytime, Warren Ellis's The Authority. Warren Ellis is many things, one of which is an excellent superhero comics writer, but that has never been his passion, more simply the way he cemented himself in the industry so he could also make his more artistic work, very often black and white comics published by Avatar Press. The Authority is the meeting of these two talents, a superhero comic finally done the way Ellis himself wanted to create one. Disillusioned with the traditional heroics involved with simply upholding the status quo, Warren asks what if superheroes tried to right the real wrongs of the world? What if they went after the real villains and tried to make a better world for everyone? And what if they would stop at nothing to achieve it? This was the premise for The Authority. First published in 1999, The Authority is a superhero team composed mostly of characters Ellis created on his preceding run writing Stormwatch, which was the Wildstorm universe's premier superhero team. They were completely operated by the United Nations and obeyed the governments of the world. The Authority was different in that they answered to no one, and they filled the gap left behind when Stormwatch was shut down, protecting the Earth in their absence. I'll begin with the ending of Stormwatch, which Ellis had written for a few years before being allowed to start this new direction. Warren would only write this first year of the comic, after which it would be continued by other writers for most of its long run, arguably keeping Wildstorm alive long enough for them to be absorbed by DC, as the Authority would continue through several changes to the company before its end, often their most popular title. The Wildstorm universe, which is now owned by and a part of DC, was a very different place from either DC or Marvel's world in 1999, with far fewer sources of superpowers and far fewer heroes. Created to be generally closer to our own reality, it's a world that desperately needs as few superheroes to survive, as you'll soon see. It all began when John Cumberland, a Superman-level metahuman known as the High, sat still in thought for over a decade on how to best help the world after first appearing in the 30s, and then assembled a team and tried to give the people of the world the tools needed for a true revolution. They wanted to give everyone the means to have everything they wanted, to tear down the structures of supply and demand, and free the world from the grip of economy and scarcity with miraculous nanotechnology. Along with this would be a spiritual awakening and a social revolution. And of course the powers of the world couldn't allow this to happen, and so Stormwatch was sent to shut them down. Among the team were a mystical shaman called the Doctor, and the source of the nanomachines, the Engineer. Henry Bendix was the weatherman, head controller of Stormwatch, and he had personally recruited century baby Jenny Sparks to the team. Jenny is the spirit of the 20th century and has complete control over electricity. The century babies were Earth's immune system, creating a few superheroes who were all born on January 1st, 1900, and all had very long lives. Jenny swore to Henry that when he lost his spine over a problem, she'd kill him, as the amount of power he has can too easily be corrupted, as she had seen many times over her long life. When he ordered Stormwatch to kill John Cumberland's team, she tried to make good on this threat. He had convinced her to join on the promise of changing the world, and now he seemed determined to prevent that very change. Henry escaped, though, and shut down the Stormwatch satellite on his way out. He only ever wanted to control the world himself. The heroes of Stormwatch disobey Bendix's kill order and talk to the other team instead. Some are evil by nature and are dealt with, but not all. But it doesn't matter, as Henry Bendix has launched missiles designed to destroy molecules themselves to kill the revolutionaries, the Stormwatch members being protected from them. In the end, only John Cumberland remains alive, and he flies from the Earth towards the Stormwatch satellite at top speed, intent on revenge, unaware of the advances made in force field technology since his day.
I'm having to be in command, so I need a situation report. They're all dead, Jenny, except the High, who just shot us here like a rocket, straight up. And straight for us.
Setting Stormdoor to 100% resiliency. It won't be enough, but he's got a chance of surviving. Rerouting power from all non-essential systems. The Stormdoor is raised.
You could have stayed with me in New York. All those decades ago. Fought the little fights. Worked up to the big ones. Hell, you could have come found me last week if you hadn't been afraid of Henry. I would have gone with you, John. Even after all these years, I would have gone with you. And now look at us. Your innocent love for the planet that raised you, all stamped on by bastards. You're coming to wreck the place that broke your heart. You don't realize you'd kill me doing it. We haven't spoken since. Stop, John. Can't you see what's happening? John, they need you to die. Stop. They only want servants down there, John. They don't want anyone to be cleverer than them. They don't want anyone to love more than them. They don't want anyone to change the world.
Lowering Stormdoor force field. We made it as flexible as we could, but its density, His speed. He was like a bug on a windshield, Miss Sparks.
I know. From the second he came back, he was like a bug on a windshield.
Now commanded by former member Jackson King, also known as Battalion, Stormwatch was divided into separate teams for overt and covert action, and the covert team was known as Stormwatch Black. It consisted of Jenny Sparks, Shen Li Min, and Jack Hawksmoor. Shen Li Min is the reincarnation of a Buddhist goddess and can fly at incredible speeds with her wings and deal great damage with her talons. Jack Hawksmoor is the god of the cities, and he has been abducted and surgically altered several times since childhood by a race he first thought to be aliens, but which turned out to be humans from the distant future, preparing him for some unimaginable battle centuries from now. And he has a vast range of powers he can use in cities, such as controlling his own gravitational pull for a manner of flight, absorbing information from windows as if they were eyes, melting into the concrete and reappearing at will, and transporting himself between cities in a cocoon. Both also have greatly enhanced strength, speed, and toughness. They discover Apollo and the Midnighter living and operating in hiding, survivors from one of Henry Bendix's failed projects to create a superhero team. Apollo absorbs energy from the sun for flight, strength, and laser beams from his eyes, and the Midnighter has the most advanced combat upgrades in both his body and his mind that money can buy. With some difficulty, they are contacted and brought back into the fold shortly before Stormwatch is shut down following the destruction of the satellite, mostly for financial reasons. Apollo and Midnighter are both openly gay and in a loving, committed relationship. At this point in 1999, to have two prominent examples and close analogs of Superman and Batman on a high-profile team such as The Authority as positive role models was the most public example Wildstorm and Ellis could make, and their breakout success was an important step towards proper representation for gay people in the superhero comics world. One of the most common stereotypes gay men were still fighting in popular media at the time was they were too effeminate and couldn't be cast as tough or strong characters. As you'll see, Apollo and the Midnighter buried that myth for good.
Things have got to change. You poor bastards. You weren't ready for an alien infestation, just like you weren't ready for the bleed. Things are getting worse. In the end, they got too big for you. I wish we'd been there. There has to be someone left to save the world.
And change it.
Same thing. Is it going to be us? I mean, I know we've gotten help, but still, Angela's only been in one combat situation. And 20,000 years worth of memories might not help a medical friend if someone wants to kick his head in. I know. But Stormwatch isn't coming back, Shen. I don't have a choice. There has to be someone left to save the world. Door.
They think there's no one left to save the world. The Circle, 1 of 4. It's a regular day in Moscow when suddenly objects begin to fall from the sky, burning like comets. Superhumans streak down and smash into the ground, causing massive explosions. They bear a symbol, a circle with 3 dots along it. The superhumans emerge from their craters, blasting fire from their eyes and hands, destroying everything in sight and leveling half the city. New York City. My God, Moscow's half gone. There's not a damn thing anyone can do.
How do we get to be so goddamn weak, Christine? You mean why are we running a superhuman security and intelligence advisory office for the United Nations rather than...
You know what I mean.
Damn it, Jackson. They won't fund Stormwatch. There is no international superhuman crisis response team. There never will be. The UN can't afford it anymore. And so yes, if some bunch of super bastards wants to spend an hour gutting a major world city, we sit back and say, yes, sir. You don't run Stormwatch anymore. You don't get to be Jackson King, weatherman. I don't get to be Christine Trelane, faithful retainer. Most of Stormwatch are dead. We buried them, love. We can't even trace the people who left Moscow without Skywatch Space Station, and that doesn't exist either. All we can do is hope they don't come after New York next.
Is that the way we have to live now? Hoping some superhuman lunatic just takes out the next guy? There's no one left to stop them. Even Jenny Sparks and the Stormwatch Black Deep Cover team has vanished. Hell, I wasn't allowed to admit they existed.
We were somewhere else when they hit Moscow. It won't happen again. Tell me everything you know.
Gamora Island. Gamora Island, standing off the Asian continent, used to be called Parousia. 70 years ago, the brothers Gamora were born into Parousia. Sum, Y, and Kaizen. By the age of 10, the brothers Gamora ran their village. By 16, they ran the country. By 18, they had remade Perusia as an island factory for terror. And by 20, I had killed my brothers Sum and Y. But I remember and honor them by retaining the symbol we used in the old days. The circle with 3 knots. In the old days, it was a thin leather bracelet that served as a symbol, worn to identify the creatures of the brothers Gamora. Today, it is a smooth corporate logo. The meaning is the same. Anything marked with the Gamora circle belongs to the clan Gamora. I am cutting a circle upon the earth, and Moscow was nothing but the first knot. 2 more knots, 2 more cities, then earth shall bear the mark of Kaizen Gamora. I have spent 2 years building you all. 2 years since I returned to Terra after my captivity at the hand of a rogue American Superman. 2 years since I returned to Terra, and Stormwatch struck at Gamora in retaliation. They landed at Perusia Beach and walked inland and did not stop walking until they had killed more than 200 of my people. But now, Stormwatch no longer exists. There is no one on this planet who can place shackles on my anger. The second knot of the circle needs to be cut immediately before the blood dries in Moscow. For the second knot, it is only fitting that I double the attack force. Raise your Kuroshi knives to me, as my brothers and I did to our father before we went out to our vocation. Terrorism. Bring terror to the earth. Remind them what Gamora means. Go with my love and my hate.
Jenny Sparks? What is all this? How'd you get in here? Through the carry door, but that isn't important. What is important is this. Stormwatch may be gone. There's still a way to stop these bastards before it's too late for everyone. But you'll have to give me your intel on this.
Who's going to stop them, Jenny? What have you been up to?
Friends. When you put me and the rest of the Stormwatch Black team into hiding, we decided not to be idle. Me, Jack Hawksmoor, Shen Li Min, we started talking to people. Now you're going to give me your intel on the Moscow incident or not? That's all of it, plus our own conclusions, inferences, and speculations. Some related background, too. Thanks. We'll be in touch. Door.
Who's going to stop them, Jenny?
A higher authority.
The carrier. Junction room. How'd it go?
About as well as can be expected. Got the information we needed. We didn't really need it, Jenny. Not with the engineer and the doctor. Okay, we needed Christine and Jackson to believe we needed them. Because when all bloody hell breaks loose, and it's going to, we will need them to convince the powers that be to stay out of our way. Where is the engineer? I want to make sure we've actually got something in its place that'll read this disc.
She's in mission control, fooling around with things beyond mortal ken like that.
Actually, Jack, do me a favor.
Shoot.
Moscow, survey the damage personally. See what you can pick up. Not you, Shen. Last thing we want to show the Russians is another flyer right now.
Jack arrives in Moscow, and the mind of the city connects to his, making him feel the damage, but also directing him to the mark of Gamora on a wall. He picks up a residual radiation signature from their teleporters. So, you walk with the Pantheon, just as I did.
Yes, the spirit of the 20th century, the winged huntress, the maker, the Sun King, and Night Bringer of war, and me, the shaman. And I have less experience than any of them.
You are the first of us to operate publicly, on a fully global scale.
How many of us have there been?
There has always been a doctor. Earth always needs her shaman. Experience is not important in the terms in which you frame it. You are the doctor. Upon my death, the singularity opened up around you, and you knew then everything that all of us knew. And it became your job, as it was mine and all of ours, to change the world. Because magic is nothing but change.
We never wanted the earlier doctor to die, you know, nor the first engineer. Stormwatch is being run by a lunatic, and he did it. I know. I wouldn't be here otherwise. Wish I'd been able to meet him, the first engineer. I mean, I had met him in his real life, you know, but not as the engineer. I didn't even know it was him until my home computer filled up with all his notes on nanotech and started linking it to my work on human-machine fusion. Still amazes me. He sent all that to me in the second he died. And where's the dynamic duo? They went for a walk, and if they heard you call them that. In this job, I have to steal my laughs where I can, no matter how sad, pathetic, or snide.
Jenny Sparks is laughing at us again, and she is still smoking those cheap English cigarettes that smell like the bottom of a gas can. Look at this. We must be crazy. We can't deal with things on this scale. For God's sake, we spent 5 years working the alleyways of America. We go from that to this? To hell with this. And Sparks. We should never have listened. Never have brought Apollo and the Midnighter out of retirement. Retirement my ass. We are Apollo and the Midnighter. And if this seems big, well then we just have to grow up.
I'm never gonna get used to this view, you know. You won't get the chance. We'll be out of the Devacanic realm tomorrow, moving into Dimension 11. I think we're set to tack into the bleed afterwards. Can't believe the luck the Doctor and I had finding the carrier. I mean, look at it. The perfect headquarters. 50 miles long, 35 miles high, abandoned, powered by a caged baby universe, sailing the higher dimensions. The carrier, moving down space through the Devacanic realm at a speed of 25 dreams per second. The carrier is also large enough that it counts as a city for Jack Hawksmoor, who will actually die if left outside of cities for too long. Time passes. The engineer set the carrier's sensors to the radiation signature Jack found, and when it appears next, London is under attack. The carrier is simultaneously existing in higher realms, but also anchored in Earth orbit. Jenny orders the team to her hometown of London. The Gamoran superhumans are crashing into London, and Big Ben is destroyed as they murder everyone they can. Apollo smashes into the ground in their epicenter, disrupting the attack. Midnighter and the engineer begin taking the Gamorans out individually while the Doctor turns them into ravens with magic. Jack punches people's heads off. Swift streaks back and forth across the sky between her targets as Jenny unleashes electricity on the mob. Game over. Don't piss us off.
The Circle, 2 of 4. Waves of Gamorans fill the sky, headed for the Authority, as fleeing civilians fill the streets before them. The engineer sends tiny machines to attach to all her teammates.
There. Now we're all in silent communication. Radio telepathy. Right. If anyone has any problems, I want to hear about them now. Then do it like we planned it. Take charge.
Apollo ignites a firewall with his eyes, and the team leaps into action. Smooth.
You ready for this, Jack?
Like you wouldn't believe. I've been waiting to punch someone in the brains all goddamn day.
Apollo, Jack, Midnighter, the engineer and I are incoming.
Understood, Swift.
Jenny, this is the Doctor. I'm about to close off the battle zone. Watch your butts, everyone. Wouldn't want to cut 'em off. All magic is change. And move things from here to there, change this thought to that thought, step behind the scenes and rearrange the set. Remix reality. The Doctor seals off the Gamorans in a box. The ones who reach the edge combust and collapse. That's your box, Jenny. We're sealed in with them, the people are safe, and the open side is facing the River Thames, just how you wanted it.
Midnighter and Apollo engage on the ground. Back off. Air support. Shen and Angie fly past, slashing through the Gamorans and clearing the sky. Apollo lifts the street beneath the ones on the ground, tossing them into the river. They're in the river, Jenny.
Sorted. Morning, you murdering scumbags. My name's Jenny Sparks. I'm electricity. I'm 100 years old and I've never hated anyone as much as you. This is my bloody town you tried to kill. And you're getting only what you deserve. Quit looking at me and stop mopping up.
Put the child down. No, I leave alone or it dies. Let me make this situation clear for you. I know what special abilities you have. I can see the enhancements. I can detect the increased electrical activity in your brain. I know what moves you're preparing to make. I've fought our fight already in my head in a million different ways. I can hit you without you even seeing me. I'm what soldiers dream of growing into. I'm what children see when they first imagine what death is like. I'm the Midnighter. Put the child down. Faster than the eye can see, Midnighter disables the Gamorrean and rescues the child. Told you so. Hawk's more to anyone. I'm being shot at by some son of a bitch 400 feet over my head. If I don't see some air support right now, I'm gonna come back from the dead specifically to tell Jenny on you. Please don't do that. Apollo brings the Gamorrean down in a ruined building. You tore my teleport netting. The Gamorrean takes off by air as the others are teleported away. Apollo takes off after the flyer, intent on following him home. Kaizen Gamora shuts his force field around Gamora Island, though, and it's as strong as the one Skywatch Station had. Jenny knows what's coming, and she and the team rush to stop history from repeating. Incoming. That's Apollo in pursuit, and way the hell too fast to be stopped. Halfway around the world in 30 seconds. We've been working together 5 years, and he never ceases to amaze me. Or irritate me. Engineer, could you take my baggage here? Jenny, allow me to write this stupid bastard's prescription. How long have you been waiting to say that? Thought of it yesterday. Oh my God! Oh. They raised the curtain. What a lousy day. There wasn't another way to save your life. You were headed towards something harder than you are at too high speed to be stopped. We're in a broken universe, somewhere off the bleed. The kinetic energy of anything traveling over 100 miles an hour here gets converted into music. Shifting you here is the only way to slow you down and get you away from the field. And before you start complaining, which your old hands seem to be good at, I may not be tough and experienced in hitting people, no. But half of my mind is as old as human life on this planet. I'm the first shaman as well as the last. I know what I'm doing. And I could have let you go splat. Well, are you taking us back? Welcome back. Next time, wait for the order, Apollo. The force field is the same standard as the one that used to surround Skywatch Station. I saw a superhuman of your class hit one and vaporize. Door. So we stand here and wave at them behind their force field? They're safe? They ain't even close to safe. We have other concerns right now. We did appallingly bloody badly. It's time to clean up the mess. Doctor, Shen, I want you in London, giving aid to the emergency services. It's the least we can do. We need to make the offer to Russia, too. Midnighter and Apollo, you're up for that. Remember, the job is about looking after the people. Angie, Jack, you're on intel. Put together what we know. Give me some options. I want a pattern. I want to know why Moscow and London got hit. Today's other moral, which I hope is not lost in Apollo, we think before we act. How are you doing? Getting used to things. You did well. I'm still alive, so I did okay. The machinery did most of it. You must have done a lot of that kind of thing with Jenny and Shen, right? The fighting? Kind of, yeah. Not quite on that scale, but close. Last 2 years have been kind of a ride. Did Jenny Sparks always shout at everybody like that? Not quite on that scale, but close. I don't know. It's like the more responsibility she gets, the louder and more horrible she becomes. She's had a weird life. I tend to forgive her a lot of it. Weird compared to what? Thanks for the jacket. I'll get it back to you once I popped into my quarters. Take your time. I'm never going to wash it again. Okay. Thanks, Christine. Yeah, I'll give you the whole story soon. I promise. Bye. Whew. Okay, I'm going to be clear with the Russians in about 10 minutes' time. You're deeply uncomfortable with leadership, aren't you? I don't like it, no. Interesting. You part convinced, part coerced me into joining what sounded like the wet brain fantasy of an alcoholic burnout case. Oh, thanks. My pleasure. Then you obtained the engineer, whose existence had barely even been rumored to that date. And I still don't know how you located the doctor, whom, if I understand his ranting, is a magician on a planetary scale. What can I say? When I see an unemployed, majestic-class superhuman with full combat training from Henry Bendix, ideas occur to me. Bad things happen when I run teams, and bad things happen when I don't run teams. This is all a hellish gamble for me, Apollo. But there had to be someone left to save the world, and someone left to change it. Apollo and Midnighter work together to rescue civilians trapped in the rubble. The Circle, 3 of 4. Shen's enhanced senses find more survivors deep underground as the Doctor unearths them with magic. While the carrier sails the bleed, the blood-red channel between universes, Jenny explains to Apollo that since the carrier primarily exists beyond space and time, but is also technically everywhere on and inside the Earth at once because of its reality anchor, they can teleport anywhere on the planet, including inside the Gamoran force field. In the map room, Angie and Jack have identified the mark of Gamora as both a corporate logo and a clan symbol and mapped it onto the Earth. With the first 2 knots laid over Moscow and London, the third lies directly over Los Angeles. Kaizen Gamora is carving his mark on the face of the planet.
2 years ago, Stormwatch did me a great unkindness. In retaliation for an act of business perpetrated upon the British Isles, hundreds of my people were murdered. I have spent 2 years building the world's reward for daring to harm Gamora. First Moscow, then London, and then...
Act of business? It was an act of terrorism, Gamora, for which you were censured by the United Nations.
And how bowel-liquefyingly scared I was by such a horrific wrist-slapping. I note, however, that you don't mention rogue weatherman Henry Bendix's decision to kill more than 200 of my countrymen in revenge. Yes, it was an act of terrorism. Gamora is built on terrorism.
Why, man?
Because I can. Because I am a wolf in a world of sheep. Because terror is the blood of life and its guiding principle. I have no politics to espouse through my terror, no ideals to force through. Terror is its own reward. Your missiles and bombers mean nothing to me. My terror has shown you that Gamora is the one true superpower on Earth. That's why. I am not finished. My mark is not yet cut. When it is, then you shall all know that I own this planet.
Give me a minute. The carrier, sailing the outer oceans of idea space during the spawning season, keeping pace with a school of obsession fish. Okay. We need to be in Los Angeles. We also need to know what the hell Gamora is up to. More to the point, if we can stop him attacking LA in the first place, that would also be a good thing. Jack's probably best suited to what I'm thinking, but I need him in LA, just in case. Midnighter, we can use the junction room to drop you and Gamora past the force field. If it comes to it, we can try to hold LA, pull the rest of his teeth. I need you to help me understand why and how he's doing this. It also couldn't hurt to kill his force field so the conventional forces can take over the situation. The hell with this. I'm not calling you Midnighter all the bloody time. Don't you and Apollo have proper names?
No.
Alright, who wants to be Bert and who wants to be Ernie?
Can we just get on with this?
Alright. Go quietly. Don't get yourself seen. Bring me back things worth knowing. Do the job.
No one sees me unless I want them to. I may not be 100 years old, but I've been doing this kind of thing a while now.
If you need help, shout. Calm should go through the force field, right, Angie? Should be routed through the carrier via nanodoor, yes. See, Angie has a proper name. Alright. Let's go and get it done.
Engineer, I have a question. Who flies this thing?
It flies itself. It goes where it wants. We're fairly sure the carrier is alive. It's locked itself to Earth's three-dimensional location in chronal procession, but other than that, it tours the higher planes at its leisure.
Chronal procession?
Sorry, time of the carrier moves at the same speed it does on Earth. It's not like we couldn't take control if we wanted, though. To an extent, anyway. Carrier, tack into the bleed? There we go. We got red. That's the bleed, the artery wall between parallel universes. The only thing we couldn't do is leave Earth space. It seems to want to stay with Earth. I just wish we really understood what the carrier was. It's something the doctor's going to work on. Midnighter teleports onto the ground in Gamora and attacks a policeman, who turns out to also be a superhuman. Right. Call the doctor, the engineer, Swift, and Apollo to establish aerial sentry points. Jack, tap into the city. Give me the wider picture. Call in when you reach position. Give me a report. I'm going to put a call into Jackson and Christine. Put the UN in the picture. If I get the Yanks to sit rep first, they'll be clogging the place up with fighter planes. No sense giving the Gamorans extra toys to play with here. Speak of the devil. We're too late for anything clever, Jenny. Stone me. The sky is filled with hundreds of incoming Gamoran superhumans, the largest group yet, hell-bent on destroying Los Angeles.
Hundreds of the swords. Gamora must have kept... Oh, Christ, look at him. Must have kept a battalion of the swords in reserve. I wish I had a cigarette.
Gamora. Midnighter dodges the policeman's strike and counters with a kick.
Identify yourself. How do you dodge my strike? You cannot be that fast. No, I can. And what's more, I know what you're going to do next. I've already played this fight in my head 1,000,000 times from each and every angle. You think your Kaizen Gamora's pretty damn good, I know. Then my talents are built in by Henry Bendix, the biggest bastard on Earth, and trained by 5 years living rough and fighting on the streets of America. I won this fight before you even turned up.
The policeman ignites his hands as he charges, but Midnighter kicks him in the balls and smashes both fists into his head. He follows with a scissor attack and a palm strike. One final kick and the man is down. Midnighter starts toward Gamora Tower. The Gamoran superhumans rain down on Los Angeles. The Circle, 4 of 4.
Right, time to prove we can walk the walk as well as talk the talk. Apollo, break them up. Engineer, Swift, Blank. Jack, get weird for me, mate. Doctor? Doctor? I'm not ready for this. Look, 2 months ago I was a junkie. I wanted to be a shaman, but I was just a junkie with too many books. I can't do this. Look at those bastards coming down.
You are the doctor. You've got millennia of dealing with threats to your village encoded in you. Reach inside and take it.
This is L.A. This isn't my village. I wouldn't give you a rat's ass for L.A.
The shaman lives outside the village. This is 1999. The world is your tribe. You are the doctor. The means exist inside you. Reach inside and take it.
Doctor? I'll do what I can.
The doctor shines brilliantly with unearthly light, bathing the city around him. He begins transforming as many Gamorans as he can, and they break into flying shards.
Bloody hell! This your idea of starting magic? I know. Instead of having them beat Jenny to death, I'll turn them into 10,000 sharp pointy things and bloody chuck 'em at her instead.
Giant trees burst from the streets of Los Angeles.
You turn them into trees? I do. Something with all that mass. I feel great. Jenny sparks all points. The doctor is down.
He did good, Jenny. Took out nearly half the opposing force.
Door. I'm putting him back in the carrier. What's the sit rep?
This is Apollo, Jenny, and I could use some backup, because the hand-to-bastard ratio is not in my favor here.
The hell with it.
Apollo is swarmed and blasts a wave of Gamorans with heat vision as they push him down towards the city. They smash into a building.
I don't want to be a pain, Jenny, but can I get that back up before I die? I'm on it. Give me a few seconds more. I never claimed to be a soldier. This takes thought.
Los Angeles is dying. Think of something.
Who was that? Weird echo on it.
It's Jack.
Jack? Where are you?
Nowhere you can see.
I'm not a soldier, Jack.
No, you're an engineer. You're the woman who distilled an incalculable number of intelligent devices into 9 pints of liquid machinery and exchanged your blood for it. You can do anything you can think of. That was the point of your machines. And I know you wanted to build a safer world with them. But sometimes you have to fight and kick and bite for a better world, Angie.
Okay. Shut up. I got it. The nanoload works like blood to keep me alive as well as covering me. I use it and airborne particles to make things. And if I stretch it all as far as it'll go without killing me. Swift to all points. I found Apollo, but if I'm his backup, then I need backup. Just give me a second. Someone tell me how close we are to containing this crap. Jenny? Don't know why I didn't think of it before. Extruding the machinery out into a web of knives small enough to slip between atoms. Be right with you.
Shen and Jack begin tearing superhumans off of Apollo from above and below.
Back up.
Where the hell did you come from?
Daddy did a bad thing with Mommy. 9 months later. Jenny, this is the Midnighter. We have problems.
No, really? Well, I knew things were too easy. What with only having 400 flying bastards ripping apart L.A.
Listen to me. I've infiltrated Gamora Tower. I can see the scale of this now. I just don't know how to break it. He has a bioreactor pumping out superhuman clones. That's how he's doubling his strike forces each time. He spliced superhuman traits onto a selection of human genomes and just programmed this thing to keep on growing people at a rate accelerated past anything I've seen. Selection. Pah! It is the genetic material of my dead brothers and my terrifying and beautiful mother, deceased these last gray 30 years. They were forced to pay for the purity of Gamora with their blood. Now I give them back their glory. They scar the world for me. Well now, what do we have here? An American superhuman in Gamora Tower. Don't you know where you are, boy? This is Earth's terminal point. Here is where the world revolves from. Where the world turns. You just give me a good idea. Door. Oop. Interesting. What happened to you?
I reforested Los Angeles.
Ask a stupid question. Carrier, can you hear me? God, how did you do this? Carrier, I need you to move.
Jenny sends bolts into the sky, frying waves of Gamoras, and they fall, burning onto the city.
Just electrocuted another wave of them, but I think LA's power grid's been hit. We're running out of electricity to work with. Midnighter, if you can hear us, we need an update, fast.
I'm taking the carrier out for a spin.
You what?
He got a bioreactor 2 miles long. He got a mass teleport system, and I can't break either of them, and you're all busy. All I can do, Jenny, is hit things until they don't work anymore. That was a skill that was built into me. Gamora's tower is too big and hard for me to hit. So, it's like my father once said, hit the soft parts with your hand. Gamora Island. Hit the hard parts with a utensil. If anyone's interested, that farting sound was Gamora's force field bursting.
Aw, well, I wanted to have some fun.
I love being me.
The carrier utterly demolishes Gamora Tower, ending the threat at its source and minimizing civilian casualties. Los Angeles.
Did we win?
All clear aerially. The central part of the city's a mess, but we contained it pretty well.
How many people do you think we killed?
How many people would have died if we hadn't been here? It's not a great answer, I know, but it's the best there is. We saved more people than we killed.
That'll do it for me, but we managed something else. That'll do it for me, but we managed something else, too. I just spoke to Jackson King and Christine Trelane. They're going to scramble aid agencies into Gamora and a team of United Nations inspectors. So it'll be a UN team, not a single country, that'll find Gamora's bioreactor and teleport system. It'll be the UN holding ways of mass-producing human tissue from DNA scrapings. The UN holding a revolutionary mass transit system. And they'll know we know they have it. So, give it 5 or 10 years of testing and bidding and building and, well, the world will be a better place. This is a priority transmission via the United Nations building in New York City, breaking across all commercial and private frequencies in all languages. This is Jennifer Sparks speaking for the Authority. You are not alone.
A blue Union Jack flies on a flag over a government building, surrounded by a fleet of technologically advanced warships. Shiftships, 1 of 4.
So, what news is there from the Hanseatic region, Jingvi?
All is quiet in Briggen. The construction of Keflak spaceport proceeds apace. The factory islands of Oslo are behaving. All in all, things are frighteningly dull. What we need is a war.
You sound like your Sicilian relatives, Jingvi.
And you, and your false humor and evasion, sound like what you are, a Windsor.
Being a Windsor kept my family alive in 1953, as opposed to your Sicilian cousins. God rest their poor, infected, mutated corpses.
Why do you allow such filth and appalling noise in your court?
They love their king.
And do you love your king, Windsor?
Regis? Where are you, Regis?
On your shoulder. In your mind. Right behind you. Does it matter, Windsor? Do you love your king, Windsor?
Show yourself.
Do you love me?
Of course I do.
Wasn't this you, then? Ennobled by a pinch of alien DNA, no more substantial than a thought? Is that what I am, Windsor? Is this how you love me?
Oh, my God!
You ungrateful little dung tick. I gave you Albion to manage after World War IV, and this is how you love me for it? This is the end, Windsor.
No! I'll kill you first, you bastard! There you are! There! There!
Here. My lord, what brings your glorious presence to Albion? Things, Yingvi. Things. Albion's yours. Enjoy. Meet me in the courtyard in an hour. We're going to war, Yingvi. With whom, my lord? Why? A place we haven't been in a very long time. There's a German word I'm fond of. Lebensraum. I'm hungry, Yingvi. Windsor had children, didn't he? The carrier, at cruise speed over the mind barrier reef, where the brains of latent telepaths grow together in their sleep.
Damn, would you just look at that? Worth giving up a life for.
Do you miss it? The way things were before, I mean.
Sometimes. I miss the silly things, you know? Like shouting at garbage men, making orange juice, missing the bus, being in the lab, being a physicist, a technologist. My whole life. I traded it for this one. Now I fight people, go to war. I don't have experiments. I have things that need to be solved or people die. I don't drink gin and bitter lemon until I fall over. I don't have sex with my ex-boyfriend every third Thursday. I don't eat clams on Mulberry Street. I'm not Angie anymore. I'm the engineer.
So why do you do it?
Because somebody needs to. And I get views like this.
Los Angeles is being rebuilt, and all is calm when the clear blue sky cracks open and a rift forms. Instantly, a fleet of highly advanced warships fills the sky above the city, aircraft ranging in size from huge motherships to small fighter jets. Red leader to Red Squadron, Waterloo Formation. I repeat, Waterloo Formation. Commence attack run. They strafe the streets with fire, raining down destruction on the already besieged city.
This is Christine Trelane on frequency A. If the authority is receiving, please respond soonest. This is a terminal situation. I repeat, a terminal situation. Christine, this is Jenny Spox. Talk to me. Los Angeles is under attack. Again. USAF is scrambling fighters, but we're seeing heads out of the military's league. What are you seeing, Christine? Give us a clue what you want from us before you ask us out. Well, Christ, they look like spacecraft to us, Jenny. There's lots of them, and they're blowing the crap out of L.A. I've been asked to ask you in. You gonna help or not? Game on, children. Junction room.
The U.S. Air Force dogfights with the alien armada in the sky above Los Angeles. Their ships appear to bear a version of the British Union Jack. Our world's forces fight bravely, but are outnumbered and outgunned as they fight a losing battle against superior technology.
Oh my God. What the hell's going on? Sliding Albion. What? They're supposed to be dead. What? Take him out any way you can. Shen, get me on the ground, damn it. Apollo, take point.
Apollo flies through the largest warship close to him and blasts another with beams from his eyes.
My God. Apollo killed it by looking at it.
Apollo wreaks havoc with the invading force, smashing warships into one another and exploding them with his eyes.
Quickly. Apollo's bought time for a working. It's difficult to think. So loud, so hot. Rocket summer up here. Summer becomes autumn. Rocket magic.
The doctor turns the warplanes into falling leaves.
Jenny, for God's sake, if you know what's going on. Of course I know it's bloody going on. Being invaded by an alternate Earth.
1920. Jenny Sparks rides the outside of a spaceship with a fantastic design. Shiftships, 2 of 4.
I was 20 years old and I stopped aging. Those stopped making sense about the same time. One minute we had the special theory of relativity, and the next someone rewrote the laws of physics. England was very quietly touched by the strange. I was there to see the Shiftships when the door appeared. I was a girl. I threw myself into the trouble that follows the door, fought the King of Nails from sliding Albion, and slept with beautiful blue-skinned princes. The 20s were an age of scientific romance, and I loved it.
1953.
But the 50s. I got involved with the British Space Group, the biggest clandestine stunt ever pulled on the British people. God, even our banquets were held under maximum security.
May I present Colonel Jennifer Sparks of the British Space Group. Colonel, this is our American friends in their covert services. How are we calling you? Baxter will do.
So none of these hits reported back to the States?
I keep this all to myself. I have my own agenda, as the General knows. Gotta say, though, this is a sweet deal.
Still doesn't sit right with me, using the Space Group as a cover story.
That's your 16th glass, Colonel Sparks.
I didn't realize you were counting, General. Kind of you.
You'd rather the British people were informed that agents of a parallel world, including an England ruled by Sicilian princes, have been running around the countryside since the 20s, their tracks wiped by our government? What the hell is that awful goddamn noise? Incursion alarm!
The helicopters were our big PR gimmick. Science fiction and science today, and all that guff. We had to do something to cover those sliding Albion shiftships still moving in British airspace. Anything other than tell the truth.
Oh, thank God you're back.
What's the story, Bill?
We just got a message shot through the ship door we keep here at HQ. Sliding Albion's in a war with Europe. We're staring down the barrel of parallel World War One. I heard that. What's the projection? They'll go to bacterial weaponry first. We presume they'll shut the ship doors to conserve energy. It'll all be over in a few hours.
And there it all went. I still dreamed of getting on equal terms with Albion, bringing their technology here. The world we could have made. I only dimly heard Bill scream, only vaguely noticed the ship door open in the night. We guessed Albion was desperately trying to save their London from a bacterial attack. Seeing it coming, they opened a massive shift door and vented it here. It didn't save them. Their dying act was one of contempt for us.
Los Angeles, 1999. The battle rages above Los Angeles between the U.S. Air Force and Sliding Albion as the authorities struggle to turn the tide. Apollo brings down another mothership by exploding its engines with heat vision as Shen Li Min and the engineers select their targets. Shen wrenches the canopy off a fighter jet with her talons and Angie strafes it with gunfire. The doctor sees the ship about to crash into an office block.
I hate this job some days. I'd rather be in Amsterdam. I really would. In early summer, when all the window boxes are full of flowers.
Another craft is just about to crash into him, but he turns it into a warm summer breeze just in time.
There's a vessel going down about 100 yards west of me, towards an office block. I need to know if anyone's going to be under it.
Doctor, this is Jack Hawksmoor. That building's empty. Let it go down. The Midnighter and I have plans. Yes, we're going to beat it up. The ship comes down in the office block, where Jack and Midnighter make entry. Blow the exit doors. Draw weapons. Grab survival and terrorism packs. You know the drill, lads. Go down shooting and teach them what it means to be English. Hello. Welcome to Los Angeles. We're here to hit you. For glory, for Sicily, and for England! Yeah! I'm not gonna kill you. But unless you behave, you're gonna discover that you can live through your eyes bursting like water balloons. Jack wrenches the metal door off its hinges and slams it into the soldiers inside, knocking them all out of the exit hatch. Jenny creates a massive electrical version of herself and plays havoc with the armada. I know each and every one of your vessel radios is receiving my voice. I'm damn sure some of you remember who I am. This Earth remains under my protection. Those vessels passing through me are getting their electrical systems torched. That is the least of what I can do to you. Get the hell out of here. The Shiftship armada retreats, and the rift closes. Is it wrong for me to find that woman utterly terrifying? I think it just proves that you're still human. The carrier, surfing the center of a superstring, headed up reality.
I'm going to give you the quick version. We'll find time for details later. We just repelled a raiding party from a parallel Earth. Specifically, a parallel England. We referred to it as Sliding Albion when we first discovered it in the 1920s. When it discovered us. Theirs was a world where first contact with an alien species was overt. The two instances of major alien contact I know of here, the Caribbean Damonite War and the aliens of Modified Jack, were, of course, both covert. Not only was it overt there, but it was a case of two expansionist Renaissance courtly cultures meeting. Despite the vast disparity in technologies, there was a unity of purpose between them. It led directly to humanoid aliens and human European royalty breeding in the 1500s. By the early 20th century, the resultant fusion culture, now based in England, Sliding Albion, was an imperial society in stagnation. And when that happens, that kind of society usually goes looking for a nice big wall. They discovered how to breach the wall around their universe and move into the bleed, and they came looking for new Earths to conquer. It was kind of half-hearted, to be honest. I was involved in the first skirmishes. Things settled down quickly. We ended a careful, cautious, and protracted period of cultural exchange with them. That all ended in 1953, when they fell into a world war that apparently destroyed Sliding Albion.
Apparently?
What we need to know is why the hell, after 50 years of nothing, Sliding Albion opened a door to LA and blew the crap out of it. Lucky for you, good old Auntie Jenny has an angle on this. I happen to know where I can lay my hands on an indigene of Sliding Albion, a criminal bastard who knows how they think. Carrier, locate and open voice contact with GCHQ, United Kingdom. GCHQ? What's that? The listening post for British intelligence.
Who is this? This is a restricted frequency you're signaling.
This is the Authority. We need to talk to the Special Isolation Unit RAF Rendlesham about getting an interview with the near-human out there.
The what?
Don't play silly buggers with me, Sonny. I'm not in the mood. We need to talk with the parallel human that's been kept there since the 50s, and we need that set up right bloody now.
Clear this frequency immediately.
Okay. This is Colonel Jennifer Sparks of the British Space Group, quoting you emergency book Alpha reference Blue Zero. I'll give you exactly 30 seconds to check the code before going to the superior admin echelon with your name and number, Sonny.
Priority emailing your request to RAF Rendlesham Holding Complex, Colonel. They'll be ready for you in 10 minutes.
I'll be bringing guests.
My commanding officer wants a word.
Okay.
Jennifer Sparks?
Speaking.
You didn't need to know my name or rank. You know how this works. I take it this request is related to Los Angeles?
That's right.
Bring anyone you want. We'll provide full clearance on this end. Rendlesham would like an electronic beacon for your teleport system to lock onto.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Well, that went extraordinarily well, Jenny. Angie, do you have something to block deep scanning, resonance imaging, physical surveillances? Sure.
Rendlesham.
What a place to put him. Closed circuit TV into the cell. Can he see us?
That's what they say, but there's not a receiver in there.
Hello, Lorenzo. Angie, Shen, meet my first husband.
I do so miss not being a eunuch, Yingvi.
Shiftships, 3 of 4.
Have you any children, Yingvi?
No, none.
Like so many of us. Look what we did to Albion in pursuit of children. Africa dead, the spark of life barely clinging to the coasts of the Americas. The Oriental territories mutating. Europe poisoned. And so we went to war with Great Albion for her green land and glorious fecundity. And we poisoned her too in the doing of it. Do you understand, Yingvi, that our technological innovations have crawled almost to a halt these last 50 years? See how long it has taken us to find the wherewithal and the energy to open doors again. I thought the science might be lost to us forever in the 70s. We are a dying civilization. I heard the birth rates were up. Oh, they are. They are. The human birth rates. The blue's dying, Yingvi. There are too few human women healthy enough to bring a child of the blue to term, and no women of the original travelers remain. Of that crew, only myself and 5 others survive. We need new territories, Yingvi.
Which reminds me, the recording devices aboard the Vanguard Squadron's lead vessel have been transcribed for me, Majesty. It seems that their society has developed along the lines we expected. In fact, the city on that American coast was under reconstruction. They may already be unstable. Their aerial war vessels were generally inferior, offering only light projectile weaponry. We presume nuclear weaponry, but none was presented tactically.
So I can order the second wave? Do you remember when I led the troops into China, summer of 1856? Do you remember the women, Yingvi?
There is also bad news.
A woman appeared to them. She was evidently 1,000 feet tall, and made entirely of electricity. Jenny Sparks. There had better be good news. There is, after a fashion. Sparks and several companions entered the theater of combat via a door. They have that technology? They're not supposed to. My advisors posit the commandeering of a lost Shiftships, perhaps from a sublimed reality. But the same recording devices were present for their arrival, Regis. We have the frequency of their door. We can backtrack. We can get to them.
We were married for about 15 minutes as part of the plan to get the Duke of all Tears out of sliding Westminster. Just long enough for a quickie and a hand to brag. Then we all found out whose side you were really on. Why you, of all people, made it out of London minutes before the event, I'll never know.
Because I'm clever, my wife, which is why you loved me.
There's no reason why I loved you above your waist, Lorenzo.
Can I have a light?
No. Suppositions.
It is Regis, of course.
Regis is dead. I killed him in 1925 when I found out what his position in the Sicilian faction was. What his job was.
Actually, no. The Sicilian doctors saved his life. You succeeded only in castrating him. Regis was the obvious choice to take control of Albion after World War IX. I cannot imagine why he wouldn't. Regis was the expansionist. And, of course, there's his job, as you put it. Regis wants more space for the blue, and he wants more children. And children are going to be difficult to conceive in a post-vent world, just as they were difficult to conceive in Europe after 1821. Which is why he spearheaded the drive into China, and you know what he did there, as he did in the Hanseatic marches.
For those of us waiting for the alien loveboy clip notes, what happened in China? Regis had all the Chinese men killed and the women interned, and those alien-human hybrids in Regis' regiments went in and... There were rape camps, Angie. Regis turned China into a rape camp. Regis is trying to prolong and extend the alien bloodline, the royal blood, as well as expand his poisoned empire. And what Lorenzo is suggesting is that Regis has taken Albion, spent 50 years rebuilding a technology, and is getting ready to do the same to Earth.
Whore! Alien whore!
Tries it every time. Never learns. You'd have thought the lesson would have took after the divorce proceedings. Gods, come on, let's go, lads. Colonel Sparks wants out.
All is calm over northern Europe, when suddenly multiple rifts break open the sky. A much, much larger armada of Shiftships pour through the portals, a force at least 10 times the size of the previous assault, and they attack several areas of Europe at once. Jack, the Doctor, Midnighter, and Apollo are on the carrier when rifts open up all around them at the moment of the attack. Sliding Albion's cavalry troops charge through the rifts onto the bridge of the carrier, armed with rifles and sabers. Down! Not arguing! The carrier being as large as the city grants Jack his full range of powers, and he uses them to kick a man's head off his body. Apollo tries to grab 2 horses, but he's carried away by their charge. Midnighter is breaking swords left and right as the Doctor cowers behind him as instructed. Doctor, can't you magic these people out of here?
Only after I can magic up a clean pair of pants. The bastard tried to cut my freaking head off.
Right now, I don't blame him.
Jack wields a soldier's arm as a weapon while continuing to kick heads off. Apollo heaves a horse off him and burns others with his heat vision. Midnighter finishes off soldiers knocked to the ground. Jack begins to take some cuts. More soldiers pour through the rift, rifles at the ready. Rifles! Jack dives for cover behind the console. Apollo, damn it! You're the heavy artillery! Apollo stops wrestling a horse and unleashes his full power through his blast, clearing the room with energy radiating from his entire body and collapsing to the floor when finished. Apollo?
He's collapsed. His Carillion is barely visible to me, and his energy flow is less than half what it usually is.
His enhancements are powered by stored and converted solar energy. He's been on the carrier too long, fighting at dawn and night too often. He's drained himself. Midnighter cradles Apollo's unconscious form. Apollo falls over and everyone wants to know why. I get sliced up so fine you could make sandwiches out of me. Does anyone run to my rescue? You're all bastards.
This is disgusting. I mean disgusting. We can't just fight a society like that, Jenny. Just smacking you on the nose and making it go away isn't enough. Are you saying what I think you're saying? I think we're all thinking the same thing, Jenny. When we said we wanted to make a better world, did we really mean just this one? And does anyone else hear horses, or am I going mad? Do what?
Die!
Whatever.
The soldiers who made it past Apollo run into Jenny and the girls in the transfer bay, and Angie mows them down with gunfire.
Situation report, right bloody now!
Albie had found a way to open the door into the carrier and send in the goddamn cavalry, obviously, and their door killed comms. Apollo thought he had a quick solution, but it's wiped out his power's energy store. In the meantime, there's a second attack force in the air over northern Europe.
Okay. I know how your powers work, Apollo. I want you in the door and over Europe now.
What are you?
I know his old Stormwatch file. A couple of hours will see him at full charge, and he'll be able to operate after only 20 seconds in sunlight. I'm out of options here. Understand, the general consensus is that this is an invasion by a man who'll probably want to turn the entire planet into a rape camp. Are you on the same page with me now, Midnighter?
Yes.
Apollo, we have to do something drastic about this. That's going to leave this whole new attack squadron down to you. You're the front line between them and Northern Europe. I know you're suffering, but you're the only one who could do it.
Get me to the junction room.
Jack, Midnighter, get him there. Shen, you've had the best wide-scale tactical training of any of us, because you're a proper Stormwatch officer. I'm relying on you to run the boards, watch the attack squads, advise Apollo via comms. I could fly out there with him. And then we'd have no overview of the battle, and I wouldn't have you with us when we'll need you. Apollo's on his own this time. Angie, Doctor, you're with me. We're moving the carrier.
Sliding Albion's armada sails unopposed in the skies over Europe. Shiftships, 404.
I can't believe you're agreeing to this. You've exhausted your convertible energy reserve.
Jenny's right. I recharge quickly in direct sunlight.
Not quickly enough. I did the math. You'll be in freefall the first minute in the air. You won't have enough power to fly.
So I'll have time to look around and take in the sights. Listen, Midnighter, no one else can do this.
You can't do this.
The engineer isn't fast enough. Swift isn't strong enough. The doctor doesn't have the range. It's a job for me.
You'll die.
I wouldn't dare. Besides, if I did, Jenny would only have me dug up and put to work again.
He's got a point.
Jenny's boxed are all points. There's an invasion fleet in the skies over northern Europe, and a parallel civilization that wants to turn our planet into a rape camp. This means we have a timetable, ladies and gentlemen. Is Apollo in the air yet?
On way.
Good. Call me when you're gone. Swift will remain in what's left of mission control as your guide. The rest of us will be busy.
This is Midnighter. Apollo's gone.
Okay. Engineer, take us in. Not completely certain how to do this, and all the damage in here, the carrier's handling like it's concussed anyway. Let me worry about that. I can help heal the carrier. Carrier, can you hear me? Doors were opened in you. Follow their trace back to the place they were opened from. Take us there.
We're moving. The carrier navigates the bleed, searching for sliding Albion's universe. Apollo free falls through the sunlight as the carrier nears its destination.
Here we go. Transition.
The 50-mile-high ship appears directly over sliding Albion's capital and Yingvi's nephew.
Oh my God. Do we land the carrier and break things?
No. We pull up. We need to be an omen of doom. I can do the property damage all on my own. This is mine. Let me concentrate.
Storm clouds gather above the seat of this world's power as Jenny marshals her own power.
Where's Regis?
Jenny destroyed the building and its defensive armada with a massive bolt of lightning.
Always wanted to do that.
Regis charges out from the flaming rubble.
Regis, listen up. Fun's just beginning. Here's the plan.
Back home, Apollo has begun tearing apart the armada attacking Europe, focusing his blast to take out multiple large ships at once.
Bastards!
That would be us. Please accept this renovation of your palace and your forthcoming horrible beating with the compliments of Jenny Sparks.
Jenny has better things to do than deal with you, so we get you. Little white filth. Spit sparks. I should have split her open when I had the chance. I can see inside your head, white boy. Do you think your little fight enhancement would let you kill me? You've never fought anything like me, boy. I am Regis. I have been raping and killing better humans than you for half a millennium.
Apollo, this is Swift. Can you sense the next attack wing?
Too tired. Not recharging quickly enough. Give me a scan. Buy me some time to ramp up my eyesight again.
No, don't rely on that. We're moving. It's making everything unstable, but it doesn't matter. Let the air talk to you. Let the air tell you where they are and what's happening. Move with it. Breathe. God, yes. I feel it. Is this what it's like to be you, Swift? Reading the atmosphere? Divining the future from its flows and swirls? Oslo.
Regis is stronger, faster, and tougher than even Midnighter, beating him to every punch.
Oof. That's it. Fight me. Try to hurt me. I've lost count of how many men's fingers and women's nails have snapped on my skin. Your mothers and sisters will bear my children. You cannot stop me. Burn Albion. Burn Europe. It won't matter. I am Regis, warrior king of this entire filthy planet, and I will wipe myself with your skin when I'm done violating yours. Oof. Where's the other one? Where are you? Here. Where? Show yourself. Here, with the city. And from here, I can feel all the cities you've mutilated. The dead, burst women on the walls of Beijing, the men on sticks lining Bergen Harbor, the human abattoir of Firenze. And we're all sick of you.
Using the power of this world's broken cities themselves, Jack explodes Regis in a burst of concrete and metal erupting from the ground with enormous force, the world's vengeance on tyranny made manifest.
I could have done that if I wanted to.
Jenny, this is Jack, all under control in London. I'm off to puke my guts up now. Apollo to Jenny. Swift spotted the wing headed for Iceland just in time, and the skies are safe from Helsinki down to Billund. Think I got them all.
Understood. Stand by. Angie? Mission Control's reinventing itself. It's all I can do to keep Carrier on the right track on the right Earth. Doctor, the last stage of the plan's up to you. Taking out Albion was never going to be enough. The regime's heart has always been in Italy. They have everything they need to keep going here. They're a threat to their Earth, even without Regis.
I understand. I can do this. It isn't changing things so much as holding them. I can do this. We can do this. Italy turns under us. World turns. Rolls away. Italy stays.
God, look at the ocean rush in. What did you do?
Simplest thing I could. I held as much of the country in place as I could, and let the world turn on its orbit without it. By now, everyone on that piece of land had exploded and frozen, unprotected in space.
Angie, you've sorted my voice to the world? Radio's a little strange here, but you'll break across all frequencies abroad. This is Jennifer Sparks for the Authority. Albion is free of the blue. Sicily and the Italian capital infrastructure are gone. If need be, we can annihilate the Hanseatic regions within the hour. If we're asked to, we'll go into China and Japan. If we have to, we will personally expunge the royal blood and military rape culture from the face of the planet. We're here to give you a second chance. Make a world worth living in. We are the Authority. Behave. We just did something really frightening. We changed the world. We came in and changed things the way we thought they should be.
That's one way of looking at it. Maybe we saved two worlds. Apollo and Midnighter hug. Get a room, you two.
Maybe we just did what we said we would all along. Changing things for the better. One Earth down, one to go.
We are not free. Outer Dark, 1 of 4. December 29th, 1999.
Damn. 20th century ago. Been a long, strange ride.
The Carrier, sailing the edge of the millennium. On the border of the heliopause, the far edge of the sun's influence, Voyager 1, moving at 38,718 miles per hour, 6.8 billion miles north of Earth. The probe is destroyed by something moving very quickly towards the sun. In the Garden of Ancestral Memory.
Something's different. Do you recognize it?
Yes. We approach the end of the second millennium.
Not that. It's something old. Something that hasn't been here in a long, long time, but recognizes us just the same. What is it?
Space Shuttle Endeavour, Earth orbit.
God.
This is Mission Control, Jerry. Reminder, you have a hot mic at this time.
Oh, dear God, shut up. Coming out of the sun.
Endeavour? Endeavour, do you read me?
Oh, no. Mission Control, record this. This is my last transmission. These are the last words of a dead man. Tell Carly I always loved her. Tell my little Anne I'm going to miss her so much. And may God have mercy on you, that you don't die like me.
Black, worm-like creatures tear apart the wreckage of the space shuttle high above the Earth. The creatures impact on Earth in Central Africa, decimating the landscape and forming a large pile, merging together into something. Jack Hawksmoor flies high above New York, his personal gravity that of a bird. He lights on Angie's window. Angie? It's Jack.
Jack, hi. Beer in the fridge. Give me a second here.
You got it.
Thought you were in Rome.
I was. I never stay away from NYC for long. It's only an hour's travel time between major cities for me.
Why not use the carrier door?
I was built for cities, built to live in them, built to move between them. It's like saying you should take a car everywhere and you're built to walk.
But I do take a car everywhere.
Sometimes I think if it were up to you, you'd take that damn shower everywhere.
Ow!
What? From Australia, a small dark triangle can be seen on the face of the sun. On the moon, hundreds of segmented black tentacles burst from the lunar surface, thrashing excitedly. There is a lesson passed down from doctor to doctor, but as time moves on, doctors have ever shorter lifespans, and teaching them the most vital lesson takes precedent. We save this lesson because the time it refers to has ever been distant from our descendants. But you, little doctor, you live on the cusp of the millennium. We should have taught you this first. We inherited this Earth. We do not own it. From Finland, the moon can be seen cracking and dissolving from several points as the tentacles free themselves from the rock. Jenny, her machinery detectors are reacting to something big and weird that I'm not getting.
Can you feel it? I don't feel a thing, aside from a mild nicotine deficiency. Ever stopped to consider that maybe she needs the batteries changing, and that's why you don't feel anything?
Jenny.
Okay. Doctor, this is Jenny. Can you hear me? Yes. He's stoned again. I'm going to yank his lungs out and make him suddenly wear them. Doctor, the engineer is experiencing a reaction to some supposed change in the Earth's environment. Feeling anything similar? You could say that.
They've come back. The owners of the Earth.
Door, the doctor's location. Doctor, talk to me. I can see them in Central Africa now. Tokyo next. Midnight, Apollo, I want you two in Tokyo now. No point. Just the advance guard and preliminary shelling. We have to be ready for what follows. The herald are upon us. And I know about you too, Jenny.
On the moon, the tentacles have exposed larger structures which begin firing missiles loaded with alien eggs at the Earth. The egg missiles begin to descend over Japan. Outer Dark, 204. Tokyo. Jenny, this is Apollo. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Everything seems normal here, Jenny.
Understood. Doctor, you hear that?
Tell the doctor not to take it too hard. All those drugs of his are bound to confuse him sooner or later. Jenny, we have a terminal situation. Incoming missiles. Unknown nature. Is the doctor capable of running backup for us here?
What? There's nothing wrong.
Apollo flies up from the city to meet the incoming hail. Just before impact, he can see the creatures curled inside the eggs. He splits several apart in his charge, then turns and begins burning the others, but many eggs are scattered. Jenny, belay the Midnighter's last message. I'm intercepting the last one now. I think we're going to be... okay. Segmented black, worm-like creatures with insectile legs stream out from the crash sites, covered in sharp edges. A large group swarms Apollo, slashing him with their fins.
Ah! Midnighter, is that Apollo? Can you hear me?
Forget what I said. No backup. Seal off Japan. I'll keep this channel open for as long as I can. But I'm telling you now, this looks about as wrong can get, and I'm not taking chances.
The worm-like creatures rip through the people and cars on the street and begin to swarm Midnighter.
Jenny, for God's sake, just once, let someone else have an opinion. Now listen, this is my report.
I'm listening. Jenny, it's Christine Trelane. NSA just broke cover to hand them SAT imagery of Africa.
Rrrr. Jenny, if you don't hear from me again, sterilize the entire Japanese archipelago. Rrrr. These things breed.
Jack comes to his rescue and both begin bursting the aliens with punches and kicks.
Not gonna happen. Thought I said.
You say lots. Jenny decided you were wrong. Want to argue the point?
Didn't think so. Where's Apollo?
Apollo slams his swarm into the ground. Africa.
Can't breathe. Jenny, swift, back to the door. I'm growing replacement lungs within my real ones to deal with the poisons in the air. I'll deal with this. What happened? Simple. Whatever came down here has turned the place into the environment it needs to thrive. If I don't stop it now, it'll probably keep going until we lose the environment we need to thrive. Go. Go.
Angie boots Jenny's rear end through the door.
I'm going to slap the life clean out of her body for that if it's the last thing I do. You've deserved that for at least 3 years. God, all this crap in the air. It's like the stuff in those black smoker vents on the ocean floor. Changing the environment. What would you call that? Unterraforming? Monster forming? Disgusting stuff. Turdscaping. And it's you who's doing it, isn't it? If what Christine beamed us from the government is right, this is your actual beastie from outer space. So let's kill it.
The engineer confronts the terraforming structure as it charges an attack.
Ah, okay. I see how it's going to be. Hello, little boy. Auntie Angie brought presents. Midnight, situation report.
Things are getting under control here now. Terrible carnage.
Can you and Apollo survive in an anaerobic environment?
Yes, for short periods. Why?
Because we got something worse in Africa. Swift and I are no good for it. Jenny, you might not want to send Apollo in to help Angie. One good reason why not. The thing about being a flyer is that you can calculate flight trajectories at a glance. This is the telemetry feed Christina and Jackson are getting from NSA and U.S. Space Command. Whatever the Apollo and Midnight had dealt with in Tokyo, it came from the moon. Apollo, this is Jenny. You okay? No serious wounds? Full charge?
I'm okay. Why?
New orders. Jack, organize the aid program there. Midnighter, get back here. Apollo, sterilize the moon.
Can you actually do that? Beats the hell out of me.
What about the damn doctor?
We think we understand that, Jenny. The Midnighter wants to know, where's the doctor?
He's working on the plan.
What's the plan? The plan, little doctor, is to save your tribe. Do not allow the planet to be retaken by God.
You keep calling it that. It can't be God. If there's one thing little doctor here has worked out, is that there is no God.
It was its mind that directed the world's formation from the proto-matter of the young solar system. It swirled matter into this shape, this size, and then span it in this orbit. Look at the rest of the system. Mars, Venus, the nearly world. Too small, too dense, too close to Mother Sun, too far, not quite perfect. It took mind to correctly throw an Earth. Call it God. Why not? Except Earth is not correct, not to God and its children. Earth was originally a little closer to the Sun, a little hotter, a little more eccentrically spun. The air was thick, acid, foul. While God was away, Earth was struck by a rogue planet. Incredible luck. The watch spore of God was among the matter blasted off of Earth that became the moon. All of it was shifted. The axis tipped. The atmosphere thinned and reacted. Life sparked. And now God has returned and went slow toward the universe to discover its retirement home looks like hell. It will seek to return the planet's environment to that which it prefers, and it will seek to wipe this annoying 6 billion strong infection off the face of the planet. Humanity. We have to bring the carrier into real space Earth orbit.
Ah! You made me jump, you little toe rag. And who died and made you boss?
December 30th, 1999. Apollo sterilizes the moon, covering its entire surface with a wave of burning energy absorbed directly from the sun. The moon lies quiet and still once again. Jenny from Apollo, the moon is sterilized.
Come on home. Things to be done. New York City 1, beastie that fell out of Satan's butt 0. Now, you have to understand, I'm pro-choice, and I do not deny the imperative of childbirth. But if you think I'm giving you the chance to squat out more beasties hell-bent on smacking me to death, then you're weirder than you look. Jenny, It's Angie. Threat level here is currently 0, unless you count the chance of being slapped by a piece of flying alien meat. I'm about to try something the original engineer tried, that I found in the memory download he shot me when he died. He turned desert into a garden. I'm hoping I can turn this mess back into Veld, making machines to re-terraform the plane. Stand by, the light quality's changing. Like the total solar eclipse you took me to in Cornwall in the summer. Oh, God.
The dark triangle shape now nearly blocks out the sun. Africa. The shape can now more clearly be seen as a pyramid. Nearly every corner of the world holds some sort of pyramid structure serving as a monument. Is this the reason why? Outer dark, 3 of 4. The carrier.
I'm beaming you what I'm seeing on the TV signal riding this comm line. Are you receiving it? We see it, Angie. We're just not entirely sure what it is. It's in motion. You can tell by the shifting of the diamond ring glare effect where the sun shines through. I've got it in carrier detection. My God. It's a little bigger than the moon, Jenny. And it's organic. What? You heard. It's bigger than the moon. It's a living thing. It's in flight. It's blocking out the damn sun. And it'll be in Earth's orbit in about a day. Happy sodding birthday, Jenny. As your special gift, have a thing from beyond space that's come to turn Earth into a huge turd. Angie, are you equipped for spaceflight? Did I hear you right? Answer the bloody question, Angie. I'm tired. I guess so. Nothing I've tried before, but I've got the data on board to be able to do it. You can fit every book on Earth into a drop of my blood, so... That's a yes, then. Yes. Then get in the lunar orbit to meet Apollo. Take it you can do that fairly quickly. Give me an hour? You've got 5 minutes. Apollo, can you hear me?
I hear you. Instructions?
Return to lunar orbit and wait for the engineer. You're both heading down into the inner solar system for me.
Into the inner solar system. Just like that. As if it's done every day. I love my life.
Okay, I'm pressurized. I'm generating air. I think I've got the launch system sorted. Engineer to all points. I am go for launch. Apollo, be advised that Apollo 13 is about to launch your way. Oh, very funny. Not that I wouldn't do Kevin Bacon. I love it. I love this.
Want to take a second to be the first woman on the moon?
How do you do it?
Do what?
Survive. I mean, I'm under 9 pints of machinery that's keeping me alive. How do you do it?
Simple. I just don't breathe.
Just like that? You just don't breathe when you're in space. That's how you do it?
Well, I'd look a bit stupid if I tried to breathe in space, wouldn't I?
That's a good point.
Touchdown. The engineer has landed.
When you're both quite finished.
Sorry, Jenny.
Sorry, Jenny. Match speed as we exit circumlunar space. I don't want to lose you.
The alien entity is huge and perfectly shaped like a pyramid. It appears to be completely covered in tough skin.
I don't even think it knows we're here.
Why should it? If I understand what all the previous doctors are telling me, then that thing is the closest thing to the concept of God that this universe has seen. It's not interested in 2 little people. 6 billion little people, however, going to look to it like ants swarming over its front doorstep. Work it out. His heralds came to unterraform the earth and gather intelligence on the territory. There was an infestation, so its ancient cleaning apparatus on the moon woke up and administered inoculation. The things that hit Tokyo. Obviously, they were supposed to strut out from wherever they landed. Dumb luck they landed in a major city on an archipelago. They'd come down in the middle of America. Anyway, God here is trundling back to his poisonous little holiday home. He's going to discover it's not as it should be. What do you think something that size could do?
Apollo, engineer, come on home. We have to work out a way to kill God. We're not going to harm anything this size conventionally, Jenny. Then give me options. I'm running out of time here. Could we ram it? Someone once explained to me the carrier is powered by a caged baby universe. Could we make it, I don't know, blow up or something? Not without actually scribbling over our own universe at best. No way to contain the blast. Besides, you're forgetting one thing. We've never yet convinced the carrier to move out of Earth orbit. And I don't think we want to wait for this thing to come to us. God, you should see it. Its pores are the size of Staten Island. See if you can open the door. I want you back here now. I know what we're going to do. If we can get the carrier going.
Manhattan. Damn it. Half of New York's out on Broadway and kicking in windows and staring at the sun. The Bible Belt's gone into meltdown. Should never let them retire us, Christine.
We could have done something, surely.
Shut up, Jackson. Hold on. Incoming signal from the carrier in low Earth orbit, breaking across all known frequencies, simul-translating into all known languages. This is Jenny Sparks for the Authority. By now, everybody knows there's something eclipsing the sun. It is an organism, and it will attain Earth's orbit in less than a day. Its presence is related to the events in Central Africa and Tokyo. The Authority is assuming the worst, that when it gets here, it will somehow attempt to expunge all life from the planet. We are going to take the carrier out of orbit to engage the creature with the intent of ensuring it never gets near you. We'll do what we've always done for you, whether you knew it or not, the absolute best we can. We're going out, and we may not be back for a while. And while I'm gone, you all bloody well be good. That's that. Right, you three, can we take the carrier out of orbit?
We think so.
You see, we've always thought the carrier is more than a little alive. We've always known she's lost and abandoned.
We think that's why she's always stayed tied to Earth orbit, so she can be found by whoever left her. We have to find a way to convince her otherwise. The doctor's going to prepare her. I'm going to do the convincing, and Shen's going to fly her. Doctor?
Angie's coming in. You remember Angie? It was she and I who found you. Open up. Open your arms. Angie's coming into your arms. Angie is absorbed into the machinery of the carrier. The engineer descends deep into the heart of the carrier and connects to her with several cables, merging their minds as one. Soon, flight instruments appear on the bridge, and Shen Li Min has control. Gigantic engines roar to life.
Take her out of orbit.
The carrier leaves Earth.
Easy. Easy now. That's it. We're with you. We're not leaving you. Good girl.
Thought you should know. Shen just told me it's gone midnight Zulu time. It's December 31st.
How much longer till we make contact?
Another few hours.
You know, don't you?
Yeah. I also know there's nothing I can do.
And you keep stum, right? Not a bloody word to anybody. Just help me get this done before the end of the day.
The carrier soon reaches the entity.
You okay? Been down there for hours.
She just needs reassurance. She told me we're in the thing's gravity field. Okay, someone tell me where we're going now, because let me tell you, I don't want to hang around in front of it too long. We're 35 miles by 50 miles. In its frame of reference, we could pass for a very annoying little insect. Find me a big old pore, Shen. What? A pore, an orifice, way inside. You said it. We're an insect. We're not going to be able to do anything from it from the outside.
Shen easily finds a large enough channel to fit the ship into.
But imagine an intelligent insect moving inside you, stinging your heart, slashing at the folds of your brain. If we're going to kill it, we're going to have to climb inside it.
December 31st, 1999. The carrier is 50 miles wide and 35 miles high. It is moving through the veins of God. Outer dark, 4 of 4.
What I want is a three-dimensional internal model of this thing. Can anyone give that to me? I want a map of its insides and some educated guesses on internal organs, hearts, brains, things that'll make the bastard die if I burst them. Wait. Just give me a minute to adjust to it. Its blood flow, its biorhythm. If I'm right, this thing has over 4,000 hearts, Jenny. Bugger. Then I want someone to either point this thing's brain out to me, or I want some hard numbers on blowing up the carrier's power source in here.
In the meantime, I have a question.
Shoot.
Precisely. I want to know what, if any, weapons the carrier is equipped with. You talk about killing things, destroying things. We're operating on a whole new scale here. This isn't a case of just dropping ourselves on an island here. We're 50 miles wide and we fit inside one of the damn thing's veins. Someone please tell me we've got guns or something. So I'm telling you, we're going to have to fight long before we reach a brain.
Don't follow.
This is an organism, Jenny. It's a body. We're an alien in its bloodstream. A strange germ.
Antibodies.
Exactly. It's going to be us versus God's immune system.
You really are a miserable little man, aren't you? I don't know what you see in him. I really don't. Angie, we need guns. What have you got for us? More than you'd think. The carrier's a Shiftship designed to sail between parallel worlds, and from the high sublime spaces down to the broken universes. She was a trading ship. Her black box is pretty much erased, so she doesn't know what happened to her. Just that she was abandoned by all hands in the bleed. Trading ship. How much use is that to us? Think back to history, Jenny. Trading ships always had cannons. Think back to history, she says. I was willing absent in Paris with no knickers on before your father was born, you cheeky moo. What's that appalling bloody noise? That's the superstructure. The carrier's under a lot of weird physical stresses. We're probably riding the bleeding edge of the design specs. Don't fly inside a living organism big enough to eclipse the sun from the orbit of Venus. Angie, you're with me. Where are we going? Engine room.
Do you really think she'd blow up the carrier with all of us in it?
What do you think?
I wish I'd made a will.
What am I looking at? A caged baby universe. Which means what it says. Someone, somewhere, somewhen, the carrier is very old, found a way to first generate an entirely new miniature universe, and second, cage it here. The carrier is powered by the entire energy output of a universe worth of young suns. Is there any way at all to direct and contain that output if we uncage the universe? The equivalent of blowing up our fuel tank. Told you the baby universe could expand and superimpose itself over ours. It's effectively scribbling over us, erasing everything. Bit of a drastic solution. You know, I never got a chance to look at this until now. Holding a universe in my hand. Thanks, Angie. Sure.
The Authority encounters a civilization of parasites so old they've evolved technological sophistication, but rather than open with force, they attempt to communicate with them. Shen attempts to translate a message into a language they can understand by preceding it with a mathematical key, attuned to the local biorhythm. She tells them they are only there to shut down the higher brain functions of the massive entity. They pose no threat to them. As the needed 2 minutes of calculation pass, the advance guard accelerates towards the carrier. A few impact on the surface, but the main force seems to understand and breaks off. Shen resumes navigation, telling the doctor she needs directions towards its brain. He tells her he needs more time. The parasites may have accepted peace, but the entity's actual immune system can't be reasoned with. God's antibodies attack the carrier, and Apollo goes out to deal with them as Angie starts up the ship's weapon systems. They've reached the end of their natural artery and have to start cutting. Using a vast array of powerful guns, the carrier repels the attack and cuts its way through the gigantic organism towards its brain.
Faster, Shen. Not much time left.
Think I bought you all the lead you're getting. Flank of them gotten past me, put on a burst of speed. We're not getting out of this one unscathed, people. The carrier begins taking damage as the antibodies catch up with it, and Apollo follows the attack force back inside.
Damn it! Doctor, can you navigate with any degree of precision now?
Yes, I'm tracing neuroelectricity back to the brain. It's like following airstrip lights. The antibodies explode outside the ship as inside, tentacles burst into the bridge and are fought off by the Authority. The carrier nears its destination.
Running out of time. Neuroelectricity. Biological electricity. Couple 100 volts in a human. Please, I can do this now. Just get me there before midnight.
Nearly there. We're in the cranial blood barrier. If anyone's got anything even remotely like a friggin' plan, don't keep it to yourselves.
Stand down, Shen. It's okay. You out there. I'm talking to you. I don't know if you can hear me out there. I don't know if you even have a language. But here's the deal. Took me a long time to work out what I was here for. And here, at the end of the century, I finally sorted it out. I'm here to save the Earth. I'm here to get us all through this century. You might think the planet behind us is yours to use, but here's the news. Earth is under new management. This world is mine.
Jenny shocks the entity's brain, turning its own massive amount of neural electricity against itself with the largest use of her power in her 99 years of life.
What happened? Jenny, she electrocuted God's brain. The entire organism died instantly. Only Jenny Sparks could finish a fight by executing God, U.S. prison style. Jenny. Midnight. That's it for me. What? I don't understand. Jenny? I'm the spirit of the 20th century. 100-year-long defense mechanism. 20th century's over. No, it's not. The century doesn't click over till 2001. Anyone with half an education knows that. Don't blame me. Blame the planet that counts it. Consensus reality. Entire bloody century's been run by the fishhead majority. It's okay. Tired. Wasted a lot of time. Used up a lot of energy making up for it. Good start. Down to you now. Save the world. They deserve it. Be better, or I'll come back and kick your heads in. Be seeing you.
The clock strikes 0. Jenny Sparks is unique among the Century Babies. As the spirit of the 20th century, she was the only one who came with an expiration date. Sadly, Jenny Sparks has indeed left us. But at the moment of her death, Jenny Quantum was born. The end. Mark Millar would take up writing duty from here with fantastic art by Frank Quietly, and the first order of business was for the team to find and secure baby Jenny Quantum, saving her from an evil Wildstorm analog of the Avengers and raising her through her unique childhood. Jenny Quantum would grow in bursts, becoming a speaking character after only a few years, and soon growing to an age she preferred. Jenny Quantum had strange powers approximating reality warp, and each writer handled her differently at each stage of her life. As the spirit of the 21st century and an active team member, however, she certainly ended up with Jenny Sparks' snarky attitude. The rest of the book's original run is quite good, but beyond that, even I haven't read everything. But no matter the changes, Warren Ellis's run would always be the defining era for what became Wildstorm's flagship title, The Authority. The Authority has become many different things over the years under many different writers, revitalizing Wildstorm's entire universe around it, and giving rise to its companion book, also written by Warren Ellis. Not directly connected, but taking place in the same world with the same history, Planetary were a team of archaeologists of the unknown, compilers of the world's biggest secrets in the pure pursuit of knowledge, and while the Authority covered the front pages, they lived in the shadows. The book was filled with interesting takes on superhero and pop culture fictional history, skewed through Warren's unique point of view and sense of humor. Another connection between the two is that the main character of Planetary, Elijah Snow, is another Century Baby, and several more would turn up in that book's pages as he pieced together the real history of the last 100 years, along with super strong Chiquita Wagner and the Technopath the drummer. But the two teams, often working towards similar goals, but mostly unaware of each other's operations, would eventually make the world a better place. It would have a much shorter run than The Authority that took much longer to finish, but Ellis would complete the book himself eventually, and is perhaps the better work, in my opinion. I'll cover that someday as well, for sure. It's simply too much fun not to. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Till next time.